Well, today for Flint Hills Publishing's author interview, I have Joan Scibienski. And Joni, it's because of you that Flint Hills Publishing exists. Uh, over 10 years ago, before I had published over 80 books and was representing over 30 authors, I came to visit you in your home because you are my therapist, my psychic, the person who I go to help get my head on straight. So thank you so much for that. And as we were leaving at your house, you said to me, well, Thea, I have an idea for a book. And that came up because I had given you a copy of A Drop in the Night, the book that I co-authored with my dear friend Royce Fulmer about his secret mission in World War II. And I go, oh, really? You do? And you're like, yeah, 20 years ago, I had a vision for a book. Maybe you could publish it. And that was like a lightning bolt moment for me because I thought, maybe I could. So Joni, thank you so much for giving me that inspiration, for setting me on my path. Because if you don't know, for those of you who don't know, I'm a little obsessed with book publishing, and Flint Hills Publishing has really become the most significant thing I've done in my professional life. And so Joni, thank you so much. And I want to share the screen here and just show people that that one book, it turned into quite a few. That first book was what is the Ariana series. It started out with Be the Light, Becoming the Light, then Fighting Darkness. And then we decided to put it in a compilation, which is that beautiful cover there in the middle. And then Joni knows me a little bit, and she knows I like fairies, all about the fae. So she's written a fiction series, Beyond the Realms of Light into the Realms of Darkness. And she tells me she's almost 100,000 words into the third book. So she left us hanging on the edge there. So hurry up and get that done, Joni. I encouraged her to use some of her amazing skills, her metaphysical knowledge, and encouraged her kind of with a heavy hand to write You Were Born Psychic, Unlocking Your Abilities to Create Your Best Life, which is a fantastic workbook. I encourage everyone to take a look at that. And then Raising Happy Children is just a really fun book that introduces people to numerology and gives you some great background on how to raise your kid based on some numerology stuff. If you don't know about that, I would encourage you to check it out. So Joni, thank you so much for all you have done, all you have written, all you have said. Thanks for helping me out.
Anytime.
So, what's it like being an author who's also a psychic who maybe, has different voices that come to her?
Well, the different voices that come to her is so natural for me because it's been my whole life.
Right.
And I found in the writing, it's exceedingly helpful because, especially in the fairy book, I was not really interested in fairies. I wrote it for you. But while I was writing it, I decided to try something I had heard years ago that you could request help from the other side. So I just said, hey, fairies, I don't know enough about you to be writing this. So anybody who would like to help me, I'd appreciate it. And something very odd happened. I started getting this kind of vision story playing over in my head, and I got names and I got all kinds of stuff. And when I say names, I'm talking about place names and some other things. So I looked it up and was totally and completely amazed that the places existed, the myths that I was shown existed, and I included them in the book, but I didn't get them from research. I got them from my head. So having the voices help me out is wonderful. And with the Ariana series, I mean, that book was channeled because I wrote those 3 books in less time than most people will write an essay for class. And I was obsessed. I only left my computer to have a little bit of sleep and to work. The rest of the time I ate, I did everything at the computer, and the words just poured out of me. That's the best way to write a book because
It It scared me a little bit because every time I turn around, you would have sent me, another 25,000 words. And that was when I was just trying to figure out, well, how does this editing process work? And I was like freaking out a little bit, like, is this what it's going to be like for everybody? No, now I have like a system, and I make you follow some of the rules, and yeah, we
Oh
figured
no,
that all
not
out. I know.
rules.
I know. I know. Shh. But I have talked to a lot of authors, because I speak at a lot of authors conferences now, and it's so common for them to say, "Oh, my character felt real," or people are writing a novel, "Oh, the story evolved." So I am getting pretty outspoken about my, interest in metaphysics and all things psychic, but I will just kind of tell them, "Oh, well, that's interesting." And I'm thinking they are channeling that. They are connecting with their guides, or there's something really cool going on here. So, Joni, you're not alone with that. I think you're a
Well,
trailblazer in it.
well, I often wondered if perhaps we're not tapping into an alternative reality,
Oh, so cool. Love that.
multiple dimensions, other threads, just tap it aside from the historical novels and things like that, where they may be actually tapping into somebody's past lives. I really wonder if sometimes these things kind of leach into each other, kind of the string theory with everything intertwined, um, and that we get to exist in the world of somebody else, and we write that as a creation of our own, but it's actually existing somewhere.
You know what I want? I want to hire an interdimensional editor, or tell people on the other side, okay, y'all can still, use some grammar but and editing there. But Joni, all seriousness aside, I really am so thankful that you wrote the You Were Born Psychic workbook, because you had told me that this is what you do. And one of the beautiful things about your work is that you don't make it complicated. We don't have to have 1,000 crystals. We don't have to, stand on our head with, waving our smudge stick. You really boil it down and break it down for people. And, that is what motivates me to keep going with Flint Hills Publishing. I want to bring uplifting books that are going to help us create the world that we want to make. And I want to be super clear. And you have taught me this, and I completely agree. A metaphysical spiritual path is not for everybody. Like you've said, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but love, compassion, non-judgment, respect for each other, respect for the planet, those are some things that we have to all agree on. And if people are interested in, looking at this from a spiritual perspective, I would definitely encourage you to check out Joni's books. Joni, what do you find to be the most difficult thing of, you do a lot of different stuff. What's the most difficult thing about finding the time, the discipline to be a writer?
Well, I think that a lot of writers are obsessive. They have a vision or a feeling that wants to be born out of them, and they get it done. Years ago, when I was an editor on my college newspaper, I had a professor that made a statement about me that actually made me very mad, but at the time was true. And that statement was, Joni wants to have written. And that's the difference between somebody who has passionately got a story they want to put out there and somebody who wants to be a successful writer. So I think if the passion is there, making the time happens. All right.
Mm,
If the
mm,
passion isn't there, then you have to literally do it like any other job. From this time to this time, I'm going to sit in front of my computer and I'm going to type, and then I'm going to stop. And the next day I'll go back over it, look at it, see if it works. If it doesn't, throw it away and start again. But always have a set time and stick to it. Personal
mhm,
responsibility. Do you want to get this done? It's not going to
mhm.
get done on its own, although there the gentleman whose name escapes me right now that wrote the Conan series claimed he didn't write them. He would go to bed at night and wake up and they were done.
No, oh, we
So,
need to get us some of that.
no kidding.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
unless you're lucky enough to have elves or somebody typing your manuscript for you, it's going to either take an extreme passion to birth this thing, or it's going to take discipline. There's only one problem with all of it, is that most of us who write really do want to be read. And
Mhm.
so few people are reading now.
Oh, I'm going to push back on that. Book sales are up.
Oh, good,
I'm going to push back on that, girlfriend.
good.
Yeah, I think, but I think what's happening is so many books are being published, which is
Right.
terrific. You know, there's
Uh-huh.
self-publishing platform. So I think what you're feeling is that there are a lot of books, there's a lot of noise. So it is hard for an author to get attention. You know, you're fortunate in that you have a platform, you know, with your intuitive work. You're a fantastic speaker. And I've always said that that's how I feel like indie publishers are going to get their books out. You got to go out and talk about the book, and the people learn about you, and then they want to
That's where I was
buy your
going.
book.
If you're
It
thinking
must
that
be psychic or something.
all you have to do is put it on paper and get it published and that's it, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
However, if the passion is to write the book, who cares? I remember reading something recently about the book The Giver. It was
Mm-hmm.
written over 25 years before anybody read it. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden it got read and it got made into a movie, so don't give up, but do what you can to let people know the book exists.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the other things that you have really helped me with, Joni, is I'm going to just, you know, telling myself a little bit, I have some perfectionistic qualities. And you have helped me to understand that I will not let perfectionism be the enemy of accomplishment. And there's nothing like publishing 80 books to help you get over that perfectionism, because you cannot believe how many times I've gotten friendly emails or nice little phone calls. Oh, Thea, on page 35 of blah, blah, blah. So that has been like, oh, I've had to really learn to let that go. And you know, Joni, it's such a pleasure working with you. It's well, I don't want to get all squishy on you, but I adore you. You have been life changing for me and many members of my family, and all the fabulous things you've taught us about. And I am so committed to preserving all the information that you have to share. I've even started on my night job. My second job is being in charge of the Circle, led by Joan Scibienski, which is a membership site where we get together on Zoom. We also have in-person retreats, and we're doing some super cool stuff over there. So I would encourage you to check that out. Look at Joni's website, intuitivedirections.net. She also has a page, of course, on the Flint Hills Publishing website. And Joni, I'm getting really excited about reading that fairy book. So get it to me pretty quick, girlfriend.
Well,
Okay.
they keep filling me with more ideas and more things to put. And I keep thinking to myself, this is going to be a 15-volume set.
Well, that's okay. We'll consider that our retirement plan. All right.
I'll keep
Okay.
writing after I'm dead and channel it
Oh,
through you. How's
oh,
that?
oh, great. Okay. Thanks, Joni. That'll help me get to sleep tonight. All right. Well, thank you so much. And please, everybody, check out Joni's books. There's a lot of different things she has to offer, and boy, she has a lot to tell us. So thanks so much, Joni. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Thea.